Kirby Air Ride, one of the most underrated games on the Gamecube. Released in 2003, this game was a part of a legendary lineup that included Super Smash Bros. Melee, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, Mario Kart Double Dash, and those are just a few that I can name off the top of my head, but trust me, there are plenty more where that came from on the Gamecube. There's no wonder Kirby Air Ride was swept under the rug. It was because of all of these other fantastic games. But I refuse to just sit by and say nothing about this game because it truly was one of a kind. While everyone else talks about their Mario Kart world and how amazing and exciting it is, I will be here to give you guys all the juicy details of Kirby Air Ride and also giving this game its due diligence and glory that it so rightfully deserves in my book. And maybe from hearing me out and learning more about the game itself, that some of you guys who have never played it will gain some sort of appreciation for it as well. And as for my guys and girls too, of course, who have played this game like me and are huge fans of it, well, Kirby Air Ride fans, we're up, baby. We're up, baby. Let's go. What's up, guys? Tactics here with another video for you. It's been a minute, but I'm here now, so let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Now, when Kirby Air Ride first dropped, it was amidst a sea of highly anticipated games, but it was still able to carve out its own unique space in the hearts of gamers who actually played it. Kirby games are known for their whimsical charm, vibrant colors, and the solid gameplay. Air Ride took these elements and mixed them up with high-speed racing, making for an exhilarating experience. You control Kirby and friends as they zoom around on fun, albeit small and not really the greatest tracks in today's standard on high-tech vehicles called air rides. The interesting part of all of that, though, is the type of vehicles that you use. I think there were like a total of 22 of them, I believe, in the game that you had to unlock, including King Dedede and Meta Knight as well. And each vehicle had their own unique stats that made them good in certain areas. But there were only a select few vehicles that you would actually want to use for the races. But don't worry, we'll get into the vehicle stats a little bit later. For now, I just want to shout out to Daddy Sakurai again for all the great things this man does for us. I know it's been years since Air Ride, but I was content at this point in my life that Kirby Air Ride would never get put on the Switch Online or even get a sequel because of how long it's been. But no, Papa Sakurai said, "Don't worry, son, I got you." If I had recorded my reaction though of the Switch 2 Direct, it would have been quite the spectacle. I mean, the moment the Air Ride machine sprouted an engine, I damn near lost my mind. I screamed so loud and my coworkers looked at me like I just rammed my big toe into something. It really was the highlight for me in the entire Direct. I was excited for the Switch 2 and all that, but nothing in the Direct got me jumping out of my skin like Kirby Air Riders. I don't want to be glazing Big Daddy Sakurai too much here, but this man really does need to be protected, bro, since he just spoils us fans way too much with Smash Bros. And now Kirby. The guy's just an absolute G and extremely talented at that. But okay, putting the Glaze Fest aside and all that, let's go ahead and actually focus on talking about the game itself again. So Kirby Air Ride is broken into three main modes. First, you got Air Ride, which is just the standard races where you can choose what track and vehicle you want to race on. As I said before, the tracks themselves aren't anything too special or to write home about in today's standard. I mean, it was just a GameCube game after all, and I don't believe the formula for a good track was established for a Kirby game quite yet. Not to mention, this was probably meant to just be a one-off game anyways. But regardless, it doesn't change the fact that, yeah, the tracks were pretty mid for the most part. The core mechanics around the racing featured a pretty simple boost system where you hold down the button to charge up the gauge, then release once the gauge is full. And then you get a nice burst of speed for a bit of time. In the meantime though, you can drift around curves and corners and stuff. Then you have these boost pads to help you gain a burst of speed in certain places. Another little neat feature they introduced in the game was rail grinding, or riding I guess. So when I saw this feature get introduced in Mario Kart World, I was not really all that impressed considering the fact that they stole the idea of being able to grind on rails with vehicles from Kirby Air Ride. Another feature is obviously Kirby's copy ability. You can suck up enemies on the track, and some give you abilities much like in the mainline games. And of course, the copy abilities can be seen as the items you get in Mario Kart to obstruct and harass other players, and of course gain the advantage in the race. Some abilities are obviously better than others, but for the most part, they were fun little powers to give you that Kirby charm mid-race. Now at the end of each mode, I'll give my general thoughts and what improvements I would like to see for Kirby Air Riders. So for my overall thoughts on Air Ride mode, it's okay. The races aren't too long and the tracks are interesting enough to keep you on your toes. There is only one track to unlock in the game, which is something similar to Rainbow Road in Mario Kart. Now, what I would like them to improve on with this mode is just give us bigger tracks for one. I think the tracks were okay in Air Ride, but I would like them to be a bit more longer with a little more happening on the tracks. Instead of just having a few enemies sprinkled on the track here and there, I want there to be more tracks that have their own specific themes to them and certain obstacles to avoid on that track, like maybe say some iconic Kirby bosses or something. But most of all, I think what they need to have is maybe have multiple paths that you're able to take on one track. The first game kinda did this for some of the tracks, so I would like to see more of this. Finally, I want them to involve you having to fly around a bit more. I mean, the game is called Kirby Air Riders after all, so I want to see my boy soaring over the track in a gliding vehicle in all of his glory. Maybe they can have multiple paths that you can take depending on what kind of vehicle you choose. For example, as I mentioned before, let a majority of the tracks have multiple paths. One path can lead you high into the sky, and the only way to access this path is with a good gliding vehicle. Another path can focus on going underneath the track that has a ton of boost pads, and the only way to access this path is if you have a big, bulky vehicle that can bust through walls easily that takes you below the track. And finally, the normal path that's in the center of the upper and lower paths that normal vehicles can easily tread. This way it gives more vehicles the chance to shine in the Air Ride mode. Because let's be honest here, not all vehicles are created equal in the original game. Many of the big, bulky vehicles were pretty useless in this mode because of their top speed being very, very slow, or the fact that some vehicles had a longer charge time than others. Personally, I think this mode needs the most work done to it because, well, it is the main mode of the game and probably the first mode people will gravitate to. So it needs to be the most polished and refined out of the three of them. But let's just go ahead and move on to the next mode, being Top Ride. Top Ride is just a miniature sized version of Air Ride mode. You have the camera directly overhead with smaller tracks, and you race around that track about 7 or so times with a few gimmicks added onto each of one of the tracks. Nothing really all that special if you ask me, considering you can only play as Kirby and only have access to 2 different vehicles. I forget the difference between the 2 vehicles, but I believe one is like hard mode and then the other vehicle is like you playing on easy mode or something. The power-ups are all unique, and there are a few items I think could have been implemented into Air Ride mode that could have shaked things up quite a bit. Honestly, I don't really have much else to say about this mode. Out of the 3 modes, this one is definitely the most forgettable one. Like, did anyone even play Top Ride? Aside from getting all the achievements in the game, I don't really know why you would even play this over Air Ride mode or the next mode we're about to talk about. So what could they do to improve this mode if it even makes a return in Kirby Air Riders? Well, I think it should just be replaced with a different kind of mode entirely. My suggestion would be something like, say, Sky Ride or something. And basically, what this mode will be like is another type of racing mode, of course. However, this time you'll be racing in the sky only. You can choose between a select few vehicles that have the capabilities to fly or glide, like the Warp Star and the Winged Vehicle, and maybe a few new vehicles as well. As for the camera, instead of it being top-down view, it will be positioned sort of behind Kirby again, but maybe a little zoomed in, like you're playing some sort of third-person shooter. And you can fly across the sky avoiding obstacles and using your abilities to obstruct your opponents. Maybe this mode can even have its own set of copy abilities that fit well within this mode, like the bird ability. I think it would be far more interesting than the top-down mode, and it gives more relevance to the name of the game when it comes to flight. But what do you guys think would be the perfect replacement for Top Ride? Let me know your suggestions down in the comments below. But alright, let's move on to the final mode, which is definitely the best one in the original game, and I'm talking about City Trial. Boy oh boy, City Trial, where to begin? Okay, so players are put on a timer to run around a large city. Your objective is to collect as many stat boosting power-ups for your vehicle. For example, if your vehicle ain't fast enough, they got a patch to fix that. Your vehicle don't charge fast enough? Well, they got a patch to fix that. Your vehicle ain't got enough HP? Well, guess what? They got a patch to fix that too. I think you get the point. Basically, any vehicle you choose that might be lacking in certain areas can be enhanced thanks to these items. And these items stack, of course. Plus, it's not like you get to choose just any vehicle and start the game right away. No, you start on this sweetie little baby vehicle with no HP, and it's for scrubs. And if you want to hop off and go look for a better, manlier vehicle, you can. The point of doing all this though is so you can build the best vehicle you can, so it can be able to handle any situation the mini game randomizer might throw your way. And this is one of the things that make this mode so addictive, because you don't know what challenge the game might throw at you, so you have to plan for as many different challenges as possible. And it's not like you'll be doing this alone. Up to 3 other players will be doing the exact same thing that you are. And if you want to go harass your friends and destroy their favorite vehicles, you can. Your job is to use whatever means you have at your disposal to grind out the W GTA style. And the city itself will throw challenges your way and other events during your grind session, like a meteorite may crash down into the city. Bosses will appear on the map that you might choose to defeat and gain rewards from, and even secret items that appear on the map in certain locations to help you create the best vehicles in the game. The events can happen at random, but you get a nice notification when they pop up. Then finally, you done found your vehicle and decked it out with a ton of buffs. Well, now it's time to hit the track. The challenges can stem from you having a gliding competition to high jumps, battle royales against other players, and even taking down King DDD as an arena boss, which is pretty hard actually. These are just to name off a few of the challenges in the game. City Trial encompasses the idea of allowing the player to roam freely around, just vibing out and giving you plenty of freedom to do a lot of stuff in the city, and time just flies by, which makes it feel like there's never enough time to do everything. So it keeps on reeling you back in to play another round. Not to mention, this is the mode that gives any vehicle a chance to shine because of the buffs you can add to them to make them more viable in races. An absolute fantastic mode that needs to return in Kirby Air Riders to differentiate itself from something like Mario Kart World. Personally, I don't really have any real glaring issues with City Trial. If it doesn't show back up in Kirby Air Riders though, I'll be heartbroken, dude. But if it does make a return, then the only thing I would like is for it to just be bigger and better than the original. Give us a bigger map to ride around in, or hell, let there be more than just one map for City Trial, at least a minimum of 3 different maps, for city trial would be nice. I would like more events in the grinding portion of the map as well. Maybe even have events unique to whatever map you get dropped into. And of course, I want more mini games and challenges. Battle Royale has to come back alongside gliding, high jump, and even the boss battles should all just be a given for sure to return. If we get even half of these things for the game, then you can bet that this might very well be the game of the year for me. And it's not even an RPG game, it's a racing game, and that's just crazy. I guess it just shows just how strong nostalgia can really be for people like myself, I guess. And yes, I know the game faced stiff competition from other popular titles like Mario Kart Double Dash, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, and all that. Yet despite this, it managed to build a dedicated fan base, and I am one of them. And it's most likely going to have to compete against Mario Kart yet again. But this time, I really want people to notice this game, to also enjoy it, and then turn around and say that this game potentially is better than Mario Kart World actually. Mainly because we need more racing games out there to compete against Mario Kart, and just not let it be the only racing game out there for people to experience on Nintendo consoles. In my opinion, Kirby Air Ride's underrated status stems from being overshadowed by these bigger titles. But for those who discovered it, the game offered countless hours of entertainment. Kirby Air Ride truly is a hidden gem within the Gamecube library. It might not have received the same level of recognition as some of its peers, but it is an incredible game that holds up remarkably well. But what do you guys think? What are you looking forward to the most from Kirby Air Riders, and what are some of your suggestions that you would think could be improvements for this game? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, there you have it guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, be sure to hit that like button for your boy and subscribe to the channel for more content like this if you haven't already. Check out this video right here if you want to know why 3D Mario was missing from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct if you haven't seen it. Either way, I appreciate you guys all the same, and with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.